Good morning, Bradley here. Just have a couple albums to show you this morning. Both of them jazz. So let's get started. The first one is one of the latest in the Acoustic Sounds series. These are really good albums. They're comparable to Tone Poets, and actually I prefer them a little bit more, but both series are great. This was originally on Impulse. Mingus, 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 Mingus. So that was, it was recorded in '63 and released in 1964. So this is the 54th release on Impulse. Now, this album, it is these are redos of previous Mingus songs on other albums. So you've got a couple from Aum and Blues and Roots, some of his other albums too. And sometimes when they kind of redo songs, sometimes I don't care for it, but this one I really do like. These are great recordings. They're it would be big band recordings. And actually, I think he had the help of another arranger, helped him do this, Bob Hammer. At least that's what I read on the internet. Now, I do not see Bob Hammer's name listed anywhere on this album, unless I'm missing it somewhere. So who am I going to believe? This time I'm going to believe the internet, rather than the album cover. So some songs you might know. A couple off of Aum would be Better Get Hit in Your Soul. And also, it's got Theme for Lester Young, which that is renamed. That was Goodbye Pork Pie Hat from Aum. These are great recordings. They sound gorgeous. So these were recorded in two different sessions. I think one early in '63 and one later in '63. So you have two different groups with a lot of people in both of them. Eric Dolphy is on 4 of these songs. Jackie Bayard, he's on all of these songs. Among other, Booker Irvin, he's on 4 of these songs along with Dolphy. So this is big band, but sounds really sweet. The more I listen to this, the more I like it. And if you're familiar with the old Impulse slogan, the new wave of jazz is on Impulse. Well, on this one it says the new wave of folk music is on Impulse. Very cool album if you're into Mingus. This is a very cool. If you're not, this would be a really good good starting point, because it's songs from several of his albums. Now the other album I just got the other day. I had pre-ordered it, and it finally, I didn't know it was going to arrive this early, but it did. Now this is on Mack Avenue Records. It's a double album called Relief, a benefit for the Jazz Foundation of American Musicians Emergency Fund. So basically they thought of this in the midst of the COVID pandemic, kind of a way to get money out to artists who had nowhere to play live. 2 albums on here. Like I said, it's on Mack Avenue Records. And if you're familiar with Mack Avenue Records, they always have like excellent pressings. The sound quality is always fantastic. So excellent recordings. So this has, basically there's a bunch of musicians that have contributed a song to this benefit album. And a lot of these were recorded at sessions but never put on the album. But that does not mean they are second rate at all. These are really good songs. So I'll briefly show you some of the people that are on this album. So you've got John Batiste, Irma and Leo, which is Esperanza Spalding, Christian McBride, Cecile McLaurin Salvant, Kenny Garrett, Hiromi, Joshua Redmond, Charles Lloyd, and Herbie Hancock. So most of these musicians are what I would call contemporary, the current crop of jazz musicians. They are, for the most part, probably under the age of 45, anywhere from, I don't know, late 20s to 45. So it gives a really good cross-section. A lot of times on these benefit albums, you're going to run across songs that, frankly, that are not that good. But all these songs on this album sound really good. And as I said, the pressing is fantastic. So I'll just briefly go over some of these songs. So it starts out with Esperanza Spalding playing, I guess, with Irma and Leo, which Leo is Leo Genovese, plays piano. Then you have a Christian McBride song called Brother Malcolm, and that was originally recorded at the New Jean sessions a few years ago, but it never appeared on that album. Super, but it's got that New Jean group, which is McBride on bass, Josh Evans on trumpet, Marcus Strickland on tenor bass, tenor sax and bass clarinet, and Nasheed Waits on drums. Sounds really good. Then you have Cecile McLaurin Salvant singing Easy Come, Easy Go Blues, which I think is an old Bessie Smith song from the 20s. So it's just her and a piano. Sounds really good. I'm not that familiar with Bessie Smith, but to me it sounds like kind of like Billie Holiday. Beautiful. Then you have Kenny Garrett, and that song is called Joe Hen's Waltz, which is Joe Henderson's Waltz. Really good. Then you go to Hiromi, which I've heard of Hiromi before, but never really gotten into her music. So it's just solo piano. Beautiful playing. I'll have to check some of her other recordings out. Then you have John Batiste doing Sweet Lorraine, and that was a song for the 20s. So it's just him on piano and vocals, which I really like John Batiste, so it's right up my alley. Then you have a Joshua Redmond song. Now this was recorded from, he put an album out a couple years ago called Still Dreaming, and that was with Ron Miles on trumpet, Scott Colley on bass, and Brian Blade on drums. Sounds excellent. And then on the last side, you have two live songs. The first is Charles Lloyd and Kindred Spirits. That sounds excellent. He's got a really good band. Harish Raghavan, I know, is on bass, and Eric Harlan on drums, so that's really good stuff. And then it rounds out the album with Herbie Hancock. And that song is called Gingerbread Boy, which was written by Jimmy Heath, and Jimmy Heath appears on this song. And I think that song was on Miles Smiles, I believe. This is a live version. This was recorded in 2014. And Wallace Roney is on trumpet. And Albert Tootie Heath is on drums. In 2020, I think a couple of those musicians died. Jimmy Heath and Wallace Roney on trumpet. And these artists are from a variety of labels. They got the labels okay. So you're talking about Blue Note, Concord, Mac Avenue, Nonesuch, Telarc, and Verve. So if you want to check out the contemporary crop of jazz musicians, this would be a good way to do it. It's an excellent album. Pressing is ungodly clean. Sounds beautiful. So that's all I have for today. I will catch you folks next time. See you.